Now look at this here. Aaliyah Boston refuses to
pass it.
This is courtesy of ESP Ben. Shout out to ESP Ben. Okay. Caitlin Clark wide open. Wide open. Aaliyah Boston refuses to pass her the ball. And this is just one play. Look at Caitlin Clark, frustrated. Okay. This is one play. They're like, Aaliyah Boston does this all game. All game. Okay. She does this all game. Now look. Caitlin Clark coming for the handle. Aaliyah Boston refuses to hand the ball off. Look, she refuses to hand the ball off.
Stop whatever you are doing right now. Pull up the game tape and look at what is happening in Indianapolis. Because the undeniable truth is staring every single basketball fan directly in the face. For months, we were sold a fairy tale. We were told that Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston were destined to be the next unstoppable, legendary pick-and-roll duo in women's basketball history, a modern-day Stockton and Malone built to terrorize defenses for the next decade. But if you actually turn off the mainstream talking points, step away from the PR narratives, and sit down to analyze the raw, unfiltered game film from the Indiana Fever's latest stretch, a chilling and shocking reality emerges. The chemistry that once made this offense dynamic has completely evaporated, and in its place stands a glaring, tactical disaster orchestrated right from the sideline by head coach Stephanie White. We have to keep it 100% real on this channel, because the tape simply does not lie. When Aaliyah Boston was recently sidelined and rookie forward Makayla Timpson was suddenly thrust into the starting lineup, the entire basketball universe witnessed an instantaneous, seismic transformation. The offense didn't just look functional, it exploded with pace, rhythm, spatial awareness, and lethal efficiency. The suffocating half-court grind disappeared, the driving lanes broke wide open, and Caitlin Clark looked completely liberated, firing pinpoint cross-court darts and orchestrating the fast break like the generational maestro she was drafted to be. It took less than 48 hours of Makayla Timson running the floor for everyone to realize what the coaching staff refuses to admit. Right now, on actual game film, Makayla Timson is playing infinitely better alongside Caitlin Clark than Aaliyah Boston, and it is exposing everything wrong with the Fever's offensive philosophy. Let's be crystal clear before anyone tries to twist the narrative. Nobody is questioning Aaliyah Boston's raw physical talent or her pedigree. She is a former #1 overall pick, Rookie of the Year, and an exceptionally gifted interior athlete with elite size and strength. But basketball is not played on paper, and individual talent means absolutely nothing if your playing style actively sabotages the greatest playmaker on the planet. What we are witnessing on the court right now is the direct consequence of Stephanie White trying to reinvent the wheel. Somewhere along the line, Coach White got in Boston's ear and convinced her that she needs to be a primary offensive hub, a miniature Nikola Jokic standing at the top of the key, initiating sets, demanding touches, and bringing the basketball up the floor after defensive rebounds.
Refuses to give Caitlin Clark the ball ever. Look at it. Caitlin Clark coming for a handoff. She won't hand it off. She refuses to hand the ball off. Caitlin Clark gets it to her on a pick and roll. She gets it rejected. Aaliyah Boston is not good with Caitlin Clark anymore. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. Even look at the picks. She's not setting good screens. Caitlin Clark throws it to her down there. She's just throwing stuff up. She's horrible with Caitlin Clark now. I think Makayla Timpson is better with Caitlin Clark nowadays.
The result of that coaching experiment has been an unmitigated disaster for Indiana's offensive identity. Why on earth do you have your 5-player bringing the ball up the court at a snail's pace when you have the single most dangerous open court floor general in the history of college and professional basketball standing right next to you? When Boston acts as a secondary distributor, it completely neuters Caitlin Clark's primary strength. Instead of Clark attacking on the move with an unsettled defense scrambling to match up, Clark is forced into the corner as an off-ball spectator while Boston holds the ball at the perimeter, allowing opposing defenses to reset, pack the paint, and double-team every single driving angle. Look at the film from the possessions where Boston runs the two-man action. The screens have become soft, ghosted slip attempts where she barely makes contact with the defender, leaving Clark to fight through aggressive traps and blitzes all by herself. When Clark hits her on the roll, Boston isn't making swift, decisive reads or rising up to punish smaller defenders at the rim. she is hesitating, gathering slowly, and putting up contested, awkward layups that look closer to Angel Reese's shooting percentages than an all-star center. Even worse, the basic offensive fundamentals have broken down. The dribble handoffs, the foundational bread and butter of Clark's three-point gravity, have vanished because Boston refuses to execute quick, crisp flip passes, frequently looking off open shooters to force her own isolation looks. That is precisely why the insertion of Makayla Timson felt like an absolute breath of fresh air. From the very first possession against elite competition, Makayla Timson did not step onto the hardwood trying to prove she was a point guard. She did not try to show the world she could run an offense. She stepped on the floor, understanding her exact role, embracing the dirty work, and executing every fundamental assignment with relentless motor, physical toughness, and extreme discipline. When Timson pulls down a defensive rebound, she doesn't turn up the floor to dribble. She immediately turns her shoulders, looks up, and snaps an instantaneous outlet pass directly into the hands of Caitlin Clark. That one simple, fundamental difference completely supercharges the Fever's transition game.
Caitlin Clark, because I think it's very much clear as day. Very much clear as day. Okay? You got Caitlin Clark here. Dribbling. She's going to be triple team.
Here, Caitlin Clark on the drop.
Triple team. Makayla Timpson finds the open space, makes the short lay-in. Okay? Even when you go here. And I'm going to show you a few clips right here.
That pick and roll play.
Okay, right here. Just the first play. You're going to see. Boom. Makayla Timpson sets a screen for Caitlin Clark. They put two on the ball. Makayla Timpson rolls right here in the empty space, right here in the pocket.
When you examine the half-court synergy between Caitlin Clark and Makayla Timpson, the tape reveals pure basketball poetry. Look at how Timpson sets a ball screen. She doesn't just run up, wave at the defender, and turn around. She plants her feet, establishes a wide, immovable base, and makes legitimate, bone-jarring contact with the on-ball defender. That split second of physical contact is everything for a shooter with Caitlin Clark's range. It forces the screen defender to step up high to respect the three-point threat, creating a massive gap in the lane. Because Timson actually sets the screen rather than slipping early, Caitlin has the freedom to snake the screen, change angles, and completely manipulate the drop coverage. And what happens when defenses throw 2 or 3 bodies at Clark to take away the pull-up jumper? Timson doesn't float aimlessly or crowd the paint. She dives with purpose directly into the vacant soft spot of the defense. Her timing on the short roll is flawless. She catches the pocket pass on the move without bobbling the leather, gathers her balance in a single fluid motion, and attacks the rim with explosive verticality. Over the past several games, Timson has finished nearly every single interior look she has received, absorbing contact at the rim, converting through double contests, and finishing with soft touch off the glass. She isn't throwing up wild, hope-for-the-best prayers under the rim. She is punishing defenses for daring to trap Caitlin Clark.
Over 2 people at the rim. Okay? Makayla Timpson set a real screen. She touched her on the screen. Aaliyah Boston just goes backwards and doesn't even touch the guard on the screen. Makayla Timpson sets a real screen. That allows Caitlin Clark to snake the screen, get to the opposite side of where the pick came, and Makayla Timpson setting a real screen. Caitlin Clark is able to get in the lane. This is the difference. Aaliyah Boston doesn't do any of this anymore. She don't screen. She don't pass to her. She don't make layups. She wants to play point guard. Makayla Timpson is better for Caitlin.
This is the tactical blueprint that Stephanie White should have been running from day one of training camp. The entire beauty of a Caitlin Clark-led offense relies on high-speed decision-making, relentless spatial discipline, and players who thrive in their specific strengths. When you have a big who commits to setting hard picks, diving hard to the cup, and vacuuming up offensive boards without demanding 20 isolation touches in the post, the entire floor opens up for everyone. The weak side defenders can no longer cheat off Kelsey Mitchell or Lexi Hull because Timpson's rim pressure demands immediate help from the low man. It creates a domino effect where every single rotation by the opposing defense is half a second too late. Furthermore, look at the sheer endurance and motor Timpson displays in transition. Modern basketball is won in the open floor, and Caitlin Clark is the most devastating transition passer this league has seen since Sue Bird. But a passer can only throw the ball to someone who is actually running. When Boston is on the floor, the transition attack often stalls because she is trailing far behind the play or calling for the ball in the backcourt. Timpson, on the other hand, runs the floor like a gazelle. The millisecond the ball changes possession, she sprints rim to rim with her head up, putting immense vertical pressure on the backpedaling defense.
Throwing it up, Makayla Timpson running the floor. Why is Caitlin Clark able to get these throw-aheads to the bigs? Y'all remember Caitlin Clark used to get these throw-ahead layup passes to Aaliyah Boston? It never happens now. You know why? Because Aaliyah Boston is busy trying to dribble the ball up the court herself. If Makayla Timpson was trying to dribble the ball up, she wouldn't have been all the way up here for the throw-ahead. Because she's running the floor. Aaliyah Boston don't want to do that no more. She wants to dribble it up herself. And I'm just showing y'all the chemistry difference. Okay? Caitlin Clark gets the ball. She's pushing it up the floor. Makayla Timpson running the floor. Makayla Timpson is a better player for Caitlin.
Remember those jaw-dropping, full-court touchdown passes that Caitlin Clark used to throw during her historic run at Iowa? Everyone was asking why we hadn't seen those electric highlight plays in Indiana. The film gives us the clear answer. You cannot throw a 60-foot touchdown pass to a center who is walking up the court or fighting to bring the ball up herself. With Makayla Timpson on the floor, the Iowa-style speed has returned to Indiana. Timson beats opposing bigs down the court every single time, giving Clark an immediate release valve for easy transition buckets that completely demoralize opposing coaches and ignite the home crowd. It is not just the eye test or the stat sheet that backs this up. The sentiment inside the locker room is unmistakable. When veteran leader and superstar guard Kelsey Mitchell was interviewed after the game about Timpson's sudden emergence, her reaction told you everything you need to know about the respect and energy KK has brought to this squad. Mitchell didn't just give standard, rehearsed corporate answers. She spoke with genuine passion, praising Timpson's limitless ceiling, her incredible spatial IQ, her athletic rebounding presence, and most importantly, her humility as a sponge who listens to instruction, stays in her lane, and plays winning team basketball.
After the game, let's check it out.
But a player that's really stepped up for you, especially since entering the starting lineup, is Makayla Timpson. She again had double digits tonight, almost a double-double. Just talk about her playing, what you've seen in her growth.
Oh man, Sue, it's so great. I think where she at is limitless, and I think that where she can keep going is it's going to be amazing. I think her athleticism, her ability to be able to be on the boards and just kind of be in the movement in space and being able to know how to operate with us at such a young age, I think it's great. And I love KK because she's a sponge, and she's always willing to learn, and so I think the sky's the limit for her for sure.
You know, Kelsey,
When your veteran all-star teammates are openly raving about a young player's spatial awareness and willingness to learn, that is not an accident. That is a direct indictment of the stagnation that has plagued this roster when players prioritize individual prestige over systemic chemistry. Makayla Timpson has proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that she doesn't need plays drawn up for her to change the complexion of a basketball game. She impacts winning through sheer effort, disciplined positioning, and an intuitive understanding of how to complement a generational point guard. So where does that leave Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever moving forward? This is a critical crossroads for the franchise. The coaching staff cannot afford to be stubborn and hide behind past reputations. If Stephanie White continues to force Aaliyah Boston into an unnatural point center role, ignoring the visual proof on tape, she is doing a massive disservice to Caitlin Clark, to the fans, and to the long-term championship potential of this team. If Aaliyah Boston wants to retain her starting status, she needs to look in the mirror, check her ego at the door, abandon the hub mentality, and return to playing the fundamental, screen-setting, rim-running style that made her dominant in her rookie campaign. If Boston is unwilling or unable to adapt to what this offense truly requires, then Stephanie White must have the courage to make the hard decision. Keep Makayla Timpson on the floor and let this high-octane offense fly. The film has spoken. The chemistry is undeniable, and the Fever's future has never looked brighter with KK Timpson carving up defenses alongside Caitlin Clark. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to WNBA Pro for the sharpest basketball film analysis on the internet, and drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you riding with Makayla Timpson in the starting five, or do you still believe Aaliyah Boston can fix her game? Let your voice be heard, and we will see you on the next breakdown.